Tonight we are going to be talking about the political movement in Italy that has just amazed the country. The Movimento Cinque Stelle, the five-star movement translated into English. We actually began this last year when we interviewed Andrea Martellini, who is one of the spokespeople for the Movimento Cinque Stelle from the town of Figline Valdarno. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But over the course of the year that we did that interview, I emailed back and forth with the people trying to get another interview because in the recent election that Italy just had in several months ago, the Movimento Cinque Stelle did extremely well. And I wanted to interview some of the people who won the election. So I was emailing back and forth, and we finally worked something out. Let me go to the album, because this will actually tell the story better than I can without the visual images. So here it is, and it's Alan's Italy show number 75, believe it or not. You know I like milestones, and that's certainly a milestone. We're 3/4 of the way to 100, which would be quite amazing. And I called this show Italy's Miracle Election, the Movimento Cinque Stelle, three of the people who made it happen. And the fellow on the left is Andrea Davide Fraliciati, who was elected to the Figline Valdarno Town Council. And the fellow in the middle, of course, is Andrea Martellini, whom we interviewed last year. You may remember him on one of the previous shows. And the fellow on the right is Samuele Segoni, who is actually a member of the Italian equivalent of our House of Representatives. It's called the Chamber of Deputies. We'll talk more about that in a moment. This is the movement that was started by Beppe Grillo, who was a comedian, a very successful comedian. And this is a picture of him right there. And he's the founder of the movement, and he created a blog in which he was being critical of the government and the way the government in Italy was run and the politicians being so dishonest. And that's what he looked like. He looks like now. He's the founder of the movement, and his motto is honesty is the best policy. And really, the fundamental principle of his movement is simply to get honest politicians in positions of power. These are the results of the election of 2013. And, if you look at it quickly, it looks very complicated. And I'm going to explain. I decided to use this graphic for a number of reasons. First of all, the four candidates are all listed on the left side. So you could see Bersani, who is a member of the way we would describe it as center-left, and then Berlusconi, right below him, center-right coalition, and then Beppe Grillo, who is the five-star movement, and of course Mario Monti, who was the incumbent. He was the previous prime minister of Italy. And in the middle column, you could see that Berlusconi's coalition, and these are only four of the many, many parties that combined to create a coalition, of the Democratic Party and the Left Ecology Freedom and so on and so forth. And then the total number of votes that his party received right at the very bottom where it says total, 10 million, which was 29.54% of the Italian government. And then in the next group, you could see all of Berlusconi's parties that formed a coalition to get him the votes that he received. And then the total is almost the same as Bersani. You could see 9.9 million, which is 29.18%. And then you have Beppe Grillo, the Five-Star Movement, which astoundingly garnered almost 8.7 million votes, which came out to 25.55% of the electorate. And then, of course, Mario Monti at the bottom, who only had about 3.5 million votes and only 10% of the electorate. So you can, and then on the extreme right are the number of seats in the Italian parliament. And you could see that the Movimento Cinque Stelle, the Five-Star Movement, has 108 votes. This actually is a good graphic because it shows you the two chambers. You know, they have a Senate the way we have a Senate, and in the Senate, there are 54 out of 315 Five-Star Movement representatives, and then in their Chamber of Deputies, which is the equivalent of our House of Representatives, there are 109 out of 630. And they have been a very, very substantial voting bloc, and they became elected, the candidates, quite miraculously because they had no financial backing of wealthy people, no lobbyists. They simply appealed to the people who then voted for them because they knew it was the right thing. This is Beppe Grillo's position on several issues, and you'll notice that it's not, you know, a liberal position or a conservative position, but it swings back and forth. Like, for example, he criticized Italy's pro-NATO participation in Afghanistan, but questioned the need of mandatory vaccine for children, opposed local plans to privatize the Italian water supply, but, you know, on the other hand, opposes changing Italy's laws to grant citizenship to children of legal immigrants. So you could see that, you know, he's not really a left or a right candidate, but more of somebody who just believes in certain things. And the story for tonight begins in Tuscany. Actually, it begins in Chianti, and there is the signs that I've shown a few times probably. And you could see at the very bottom, Florence, which is Firenze, which is 39 kilometers from where we were standing when we took this picture. But the other two towns are towns in Chianti, Panzano and Greve in Chianti. And this is what, of course, Chianti looks like, the area of central Tuscany. And, you know, as you could see, it's stunning in its scenery. And what is all this leading to is this location, which was the location of this villa, Villa La Palagina, where we met Susan Chalkley, who was the resident artist of the Villa La Palagina, and we became friends with her. And, you know, we took her out to dinner. There's a picture of her right there. And she said, would you like to meet someone I know who's one of the leaders of the Five-Star Movement in Italy? I knew nothing about it at the time, but I was eager to meet him, and we met him. And this is he. This is Andrea Martellini, who considers himself a spokesperson for the Five-Star Movement. And he granted us an interview in this location, which was the hotel in Florence that we stay in the back room, which was nice and quiet. And, you know, they had a convention in the town of Cesena in 2010, and they named it after Woodstock. Laura and I thought this was rather charming because Woodstock has a reputation for bringing people together, you know, and the town certainly is a town that promotes the arts and is very understanding of all people's, you know, views. So they named it Woodstock. And then in this location, this was one of the still pictures just before we were about to do the interview with Andrea. I wanted to show it tonight again, but I didn't have enough time because I have the other fellows to show. And this was the show. It was show number 23, which is quite a while ago now as we think about it. And we featured a number of interviews with people we met in Italy, one of whom, as you could see, was Andrea Martellini. Um, and then the story moves to Figline Valdarno, and here is the story. Over the several months, I communicated with Susan Chalkley, who was communicating on behalf of Andrea Martellini, and I said I want the interviews to be in Florence, in the same place that we had them last time, which was in the hotel, which was a nice, quiet location. And they insisted that the interviews take place in Figline Valdarno, which is the town that my friend Luca lives in. And I said, well, you know, are you going to pick a good venue? Because we need a nice, quiet, peaceful venue. And they said, we will. We'll pick the town hall. And the town hall is located somewhere in this piazza, which is the main piazza. And I was confident, you know, and originally they wanted a 2-hour meeting with me at the very beginning before the actual interview where they would explain the whole concept of the five-star movement with 7 different politicians. And I said, I really don't have time. And it was negotiated back and forth. And finally they decided not on the town hall, but on an actual restaurant in the main square. And when we found out about that, we were a bit horrified because we thought it might be too noisy. And it actually turned out, I'll tell you about that in a moment. But these are the three people we interviewed that you'll be seeing tonight. Andrea Davide Fraliciadi, Andrea Martellini, and Samuela Segoni. And, you know, I'm thanking them, of course, there for performing the miracle of getting elected. The fellow on the left is a member of the town council, as I indicated earlier. He's 35 years old, Andrea, and he's a computer programmer. And the fellow on the right, Samuela Segoni, is a geologist, also 35 years old, who's a member of the Chamber of Deputies, which is our House of Representatives. And this is the beginning of, it was 3 interviews that we did with the 3 gentlemen. And then we have an interview at the very end where I interview my friend Luca and asked him, because he voted for them, and I wanted to know why he voted for them. Now, understand something. I almost didn't do this show. As recently as last night, I said to myself, this is not going to work. It's too noisy. My audience is not going to be able to hear it. And I kind of made a decision not to. And then I woke up this morning and I said, well, I've got to show it because it's very important for the people in the United States to see this. You know, if you think of the Occupy Wall Street movement, but a really sophisticated, well-organized, well-oiled machine, this is what they had. They had a political movement that actually got people elected. So I'm showing it, but understand that there's a lot of noise going on. It's a busy restaurant, and you really have to pay attention and listen very carefully. And I apologize for the fact that it's so noisy, but I really believe that if you listen carefully, there's some very interesting things. So we're going to give it a shot, and we're all set to go. So Ellen, when you're ready. If you remember, my viewing audience, last year we were exposed to a movement in Italy known as the Movimento Cinque Stelle, which is the 5-star movement, which is trying to root out, if I can correctly indicate exactly what your purpose is to root out dishonest politicians and replace them with honest politicians, and to create a better system of government in Italy. And we have with us 3 of the leaders of the movement, and I'd like each of them to identify themselves. First of all, we have Laura, of course. Laura Burton is taking the pictures. We have my friend Luca, who may do some translating for us. And let's begin with you. Just who you are and what your role is. That's right.
Okay, I'm Andrea Fraliciardi. I am do politics here in Figline Valdarno, in our city, and I am consigliere comunale, non so come si traduce, come si può tradurre. I work here in our community.
He works in the city hall.
City Hall.
Yes. That's all.
He works in the council, of the city hall. He's an
So you're a member of the city council? Would that be correct in saying?
Yes.
Member of the city council. Okay, and of course, let's go here and then to you afterwards. So the next person.
Okay, I am Samuele Segoni, and I just a few months that I've been elected to the Italian Parliament. So I am a deputy, and this is a very new experience for me because I never did politics before the Figline movement. As any other of us, we are born without having politics before in our life. We were just spectators, then we decided let's stop just watching and let's do something because the situation, we don't like the situation, the political situation.
Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute because I want to just introduce Andrea. I'm coming back to you. Go ahead.
I am Marcellino Andrea, and I'm 70 years old. And it's the first time I am in politics because I really believe this movement, and the method anyway. So I speak in the people in the square, in the street, to make them understand that our way is the best. Our movement.
Okay, so let me begin by asking you a question that's not on the list. So apparently, and you have no political experience prior to this as well.
Yes.
So this is a movement apparently where regular citizens are just saying, I mean, what? So tell us exactly why you're doing this movement. Let's start with you and then go to you. Why are you? Why were you brought out of the citizenship to become a politician?
We have an experience, but everything we have an experience, and we begin this way because we find for our family, for our children, a new future. So we take our time and we work for do something. This is the difference. And I think that our work is now è stato visto, è stato
Has been seen.
for many people, for many countries, not only in Italy, but now many countries now see us, look at how ci guardano. They look at us because maybe that this way is a new way.
What exactly do you want to accomplish? What are you trying to do? When you say a new way, what is your goal?
There are two possibilities. Okay. The hard way is that we take some way to take the control and to let the citizens, simple citizens, to decide for their lives what is best. Our approach is that everyone here has the same weight. I am not more important because I am in the parliament. I have the same weight in the five-star movement as him or him. So we just want the citizens to sit together at the table, consider the problems, the possible solution, to decide together which is the best solution, and then to apply it. This is what we want to get. The other solution is maybe something more easy for us. It's to bring the politicians, the traditional parties, to stop consider just the lobbies, the big industries, and to start to think more as the citizens, the normal citizens. In this way, if they consider more the normal population, we will lose some strength. Because there is no need of the five-star movement if we have a good political system which make rules for the rights of the citizens. So they have two options. They can fight with us, or they can just start making the good of the nation and of the population.
So now, about 25% of the people who voted people, right? So I have two questions. One, how did you do so well? Because 25% is
Without money.
without money.
What money and the paper, newspaper,
Without
everybody against us, against
without mainstream media, without
TV,
mainstream media.
Without funding, without mainstream media.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
I don't know.
No, again, there are two explanations in my opinion. It's not how we did well, but how the traditional parties did bad.
That was my next question. So, okay, let's say that then. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Based on what you're saying, you're representing the people, what the people believe, right? So why did only 25% vote for you? Why not 80%?
So I think that for two factors we have now 25%. The first is that we live non from this year. We live from dal 2009.
We were born in 2009. So we are very young. 25% is something incredible.
Incredible. In the world, never happened.
Only 5 years.
2 years and a half, one movement or party take 25%. 2 years and a half.
Consider also that our way to get the people is very slow. We go on the streets, in the squares, we talk to everyone, we expose our ideas, we get the ideas of the citizens. This is very good, but we reach only a few people each time. We don't have mass media. We just have, it is a very strong. It's a very strong way to get the people, but we can get only a few people. So we are growing slowly, but we are growing.
And the second factor, I think that is Beppe Grillo, that is our portavoce, our speaker. Our speaker, and he is, I think he do a beautiful work because he is a serious man, and many people believe in him, in Beppe Grillo, and this is the important factor. Right. So this is two factors. Beppe Grillo and our working in this year, because I work, for example, I work here from 2011. In our city in Italy, other people worked before, and a little work little work here, little work in another city, the people look that our work is different.
And better.
And more, Beppe Grillo is our speaker, and everything we arrive at.
So let me ask you now, most Italians are at least aware of your movement. I mean, it's not like, well, only 25% are aware of your movement. Really, the whole country is aware of your movement, but yet people chose to vote for Bersani, for Berlusconi. So why did people still vote for Berlusconi and still vote for
Okay,
Bersani?
all Italians know that we exist. The problem is that many of them have incorrect information about us. Because, how I said before, if they don't get in touch with us, there is not a physical contact between us, they can understand very well which is our approach. They are forced to know about us from the media, the newspapers, the news on the TV, and they get them very wrong idea of us. In Italy,
What idea are they getting? What is the wrong idea?
for example, they always think that Beppe Grillo is the supreme leader of a very iron organization like Stalin or Hitler or something like that, while I said before, he's just a speaker. He does not take any political decisions. It's everything up to us, and this is something that makes me become angry because
I see that. Calm down.
because it's very complicated to take.
Well, you know what I hear? I hear that people say, "Oh, he's just a comedian."
Yes.
That's what people say when they talk about Beppe Grillo. He's just a comedian.
We are, they know about us that we are young, we don't know anything of nothing, we are not able to do anything good, so this is what they listen to the news.
But I think that if Italy è riuscita a fare questo, is if our country do this, I think that in all world we can do everything, because it's difficult to do politics in this country, because it's an old country, because the people are old, because they think left, right, they think Mussolini, and they think Stalin. So, and old men and the boys and the newborn, the children have this idea, have left and right. And so for our do this work, it's very difficult because convincere, speak with the person in the street and illustrate another idea. Is this the very difficult work that you have to do? But
We gotta stop.
Okay, now we're going to pause. We're going to pause the video because we only do 15 minutes at a time. So we're going to stop and then we're going to start. Thank you for helping. Okay, so let me just say, here's the question. So in America, we're reading about what's going on here. And to us, it looks like complete chaos. Because in order to govern, you need a majority. And you know, even the establishment of Bersani and Berlusconi can't come to an agreement to govern. So question number one is, why won't you compromise in order to create a coalition that will permit the government, you know, to be able to function?
Okay. Before answering this question, just I wanted to remind you that if you look closely to what was going on here in 20 years, you discover that the center left and center right always they pretended to be separated, while they always brought on the same politics on the big issues. They have a lot of interests close together. So that you can see that now the First Minister Letta is the typical politician that has one foot in the left and one foot in the right. So it's like a big illusion, but they are very, very united together. And we discovered this once more when we entered in the parliament. We discovered that they are always close together, always talking together, making the big decisions together. So
I will tell you very simply that there are many Americans who believe that there's no difference between Republicans and Democrats.
okay, yeah.
I disagree with that to a large extent, and you have to pick somebody. You can't just not vote. But I know people who won't vote because they say there's no difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. So there are Americans who believe that too. So why won't you compromise to create a coalition? For example, Berlusconi is supposedly left of center.
Yes.
And you're left of center, but much further to the left. So why isn't that a compromise?
Okay, first of all, we always say no fixed coalitions, but we are ready to compromise and to work together to single ideas, to single issues of progress. So if Berlusconi bring us some good idea or Bersani bring us some good ideas, we are ready to vote them. No matter of the coalitions and I mean a good idea is not left or right. We just discuss together if it is good for Italy and if it's good for Italy we can go on with that. Yes, no problem.
But they don't want to do that.
No, they don't want to do that. This is very dangerous for them. This,
Why is that? Why is that dangerous?
this is dangerous because they, in this way, they don't have their disguise. The population then.
Ti capisco. Ti capisco.
Well, I mean, if you have trouble finding the right words, you can just Luca. Luca may be able to help you out.
Okay.
If you can explain to him in Italian, he maybe can explain.
I will try. How I said before, it's like a big illusion. And if they start to work in this way, the illusion fades off. They start to do things for the people. It's exactly what they do not want, because they are there in the parliament to bring on something for other interests, for the big industry, for the lobbies, for the banks, and so on. They are very horrified about this way of working. And this is why we do not want to compromise, because we want to play our rules, not their rules. Because they play their rules for many decades and nothing happened, nothing changed. So we have already tried the solution of compromising. It does not work, it doesn't work. So let's try this other solution without compromising. If you bring us a good idea, okay, go there. You don't need the story. You give us a good idea. We put on the table our rules, and the good idea goes on.
You agree with that? So give us an example. Pick an issue that you would like to compromise. You don't want to compromise in terms of parties, but you want to compromise on issues that will help you.
Su che cosa si potrebbe trovare un compromesso? Su che cosa, su quale buona idea si potrebbe allora andare e, come dice lui, trovare un accordo, quindi votare questa cosa? Ci fa un esempio, su che cosa?
Choose an issue.
Yes, allora, so propose? Yes. Normally, I vote what I think that is right. It happened that I vote with people, person that is of right. For example, I don't know. Succede tutti i giorni. Che mi serve? Che serve per i tutto. Per i rifiuti, vabbè, è una proposta nostra. Lasciamo votare gli altri. Mi viene in mente proprio forte dirlo, i gonfiantini, sì, i gonfiantini che propose, che ne so, su Italia, l'abolizione dell'Italia, non so.
Ah, vedo delle cose, yes, quello della mappatura
Degli affitti, esatto.
There are a lot of buildings which belong to the municipality, but the municipality give them to somebody for free. To get back some votes when there are the elections.
So what do you think should...
No, the other party proposed to map all these buildings, to know which buildings and to whom are given for free. Which one and to whom. This is a classical example in which he said, oh yeah, this is a very good question. I vote yes.
And everything, what do you do? And he's right man, for me it's normal because I read the proposal of this person in Comune and I think that is right, but it's normal for this. For this we are right, we are left, we are people, we are normal people.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
At the national level, I can make another example. At the national level, we have the problem of the public water. So we make a referendum in which the Italian people decide that water has to be public. We don't want private corporations that sell us the water. You know, the water of the bathroom, of the not the water in the bottle. Okay, in Italy it was public a few years ago. Then they gave it to the private companies to get some money in business. Then we supported a referendum in which the Italian people said, no, you have to cancel this law because we want
to give the rights to the water to people who...
Yes, public. Exactly. The left party wanted to, was forced to came with us with this idea because it was very, very popular. But they have a lot of interest in this selling of water. So now they are saying we cannot give you public water because we don't have the votes. The right party will never vote with for us with on these issues. And we are saying, well, there's no problem. We give us our votes. If you really need. If you really want public water, you have our votes to make it pass.
Are you saying that before there was like no price to pay for water, and now you have to pay money?
It was a very low. The water was public.
What does that mean? The water was public?
It was managed by the municipality, and so citizens paid a very small price directly to the municipality.
And now that it's owned commercially, they raise the prices on the water.
And not good water.
Private companies need to manage water, and the prices rise after.
Okay. How much time do we have on that particular?
Another 2 minutes.
Another 2 minutes. So I'm gonna close it again. And then I
Okay.
have a follow-up segment that I'd like to focus on. So stop it now. So I'd like to ask you a question that a friend of mine recently focused on with me. She was complaining. She voted for Berlusconi. A very close friend of mine voted for Berlusconi, and she said she just thinks that Berlusconi, she just likes Berlusconi, thinks he could do a good job. But put that aside for a moment. She said that the thing that bothers her the most is that the tax rate is so high that she has very little money when at the taxes are taken out. So what is the solution to that problem?
The solution would be quite simple because we have a very high taxes, but the problem are not the taxes, but what do the politicians do with all this money? I mean, the problem is
What are they doing with the money?
the problem is what they found with this money. We have a lot of public expenses in Italy. The prime minister budget is the same budget of the Buckingham Palace in London. It's something unbelievable. And we have a lot of every politician has a lot of bodyguards and cars, and so a river of money is just needed to pay the politicians.
The bureaucracy. Sustaining the bureaucracy rather than having that money come back to help the people.
Exactly. All these taxes are not for most part of all these taxes are not received back by the population. They just go in a countless number of rivers to politicians, to bureaucracy, and to the friends of the wife of a minister, and so on. The first way to lower down the taxes is to cut all those expenses and to follow small projects and useful projects. I mean, while the big idea of our politician is to go on very good, very huge projects of billions and of euros, which do not have a real impact on society. I mean, the bridge on the Messina, the Strait of Messina. With the same amount of money, you could found a lot of small bridges or small roads and so on. My idea is they follow very big projects because it's easier to put something in their pockets while funding a huge amount of small projects, you have a much more good impact on the society.
Okay, now, next question. Can this situation have a happy ending? What is the future? What is the future of Italy and the political system? What does the future look like to you?
No, the future of this political system, I think that is the end, because
Is the end?
yes, the traditional politics arrived to the end. It's normal because when people enter in the political system and change the system, it's normal that.
So what will take it? What will take the place what is now in existence? What comes next?
Cosa succede dopo?
What political system takes over?
I think that our movement, our political political method will be the future, and now now we are new. Now we must perfect our line, normal, but we are in the future. future. I think that there is none. There is no way. There is no way.
So do you think that there'll be another election, let's say, and this time instead of 25%, maybe it'll be 35 or 40%, and as the time goes on, maybe it'll be 60%, and then your movement will have the power to do what it wants?
Beppe Grillo said,
Exactly.
Beppe Grillo said in 4 months quattro mesi il partito si è finito. Ha detto, in 4 months the PD will die.
That's the end of the parties. In 4 months they will die.
But
Blow up.
I see. Okay.
I give you one issue. You always talk about percentage of votes.
Yes, I do. I'm a mathematician.
Yes.
Which one of you is the engineer?
I'm a geologist.
You're an engineer.
I'm
You're
a researcher
I heard
at the university.
Susan told me about that. We're very similar.
If you focus not on the percentage but on the real number of votes, you can see that the votes of the parties have a breakdown. You can see, maybe it's the same, more or less the same percentage,
Right.
but absolute number of votes it's going down very, very fast.
Right.
And there is a very large percentage, number of people who do not vote because they have a disbelief in traditional politics.
There's no hope.
This is the first step because then if we can get in touch with them, we can very easily convince them to vote us.
I see.
So it's not immediate to pass from voting for a party and then to vote for Movimento of Cinque Stelle. Because we are very different. You have to pass from this intermediate point, a complete disbelief in the system.
And this moment that's going on now in Italy is the transition.
Yes.
The transitional moment is
Yeah,
occurring.
I think so.
And the end will be a happy ending, in your opinion. A happy ending?
He's the optimistic.
He's optimistic.
Yes,
Are
he's
you optimistic?
Well, we will see. I don't know. we will just follow our way and then we will see. We will do our best.
Gentlemen, I thank you for your time very much on behalf
Thanks
of the
to you.
citizens of the United States. I thank you. And on me also. And if you ever come to the United States, come pay us a visit in Woodstock.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so that was the interview. And the last part of this is the interview that I did with Luca. This will be a peaceful, quiet interview because we're in Luca's apartment now. And this is the final part of the show. So, Ellen, when you're ready. Okay, so we've interviewed the 3 representatives of the Movimento Cinque Stelle, and now we have my very good friend Luca here, who is going to tell us that you voted for this movement. Did you vote for that particular?
No,
person?
just for the movement.
You voted for the
It
movement.
was not possible to choose someone, but just to put a cross on their symbol.
I see. Okay, so number one, why did you vote for the movement?
I just wanted to protest. I'm protesting because I'm really tired of this politics and these people that ask me always money and sacrifice, and then they earn a lot of money. I mean, I'm tired of people that don't do anything for the community, but just simply for them and for their friends. And I thought that this movement could do something, or at least could try to do something to solve the problems we have in Italy. And there are so many problems in Italy.
Do you share the opinion that they're in the middle of this kind of evolution or transition where eventually the old establishment will kind of die and the new movement will take over the government?
It's a hope. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just hoping now, and I hope they really can do something for us, for the people, for the common people. That, you know, it's impossible to ask for money to people that earn maybe 1,000 euro a month. It's nothing, and then maybe they have money to give to a bank for a house, or and people that they don't even go anymore to the supermarket, they don't go on vacation, and seeing people that ask for money, the government, only good words, but then the facts. Mr. Monti, only because he was premier, he earned 20,000 euro a month. Do you think it's fair? Is it fair? No, it's not. And then the bureaucracy has a high cost in Italy. For example, the so-called blue cards that are at the disposal of the people who are in the government.
Oh,
Because they are blue, the color is blue.
right.
B cars, but the money for the gasoline and for the cars, they come from people.
Taxes.
From taxes from the people. There many hospitals are closing. For example, I'm just doing some examples. Many hospitals are closing, and they think how to, for example, building new stadium for soccer. This is unfair. There are people that needs to be cured in a hospital, and no, but because, you know why? Because this doesn't make money. It's not a business. So we are in a bad situation, really bad.
Do you think that there's there's a future, a good future ahead?
I don't know. For me, I'm 50. I have a job. Probably I won't lose this job, so I can survive. I don't know. I'm really afraid of the future of my daughter and young people. I don't know. There is no job. There is no chance for them to get a job, to study. They have to probably leave Italy to do something,
Really?
to build something.
Right. Now, the three gentlemen that we interviewed, did you share their opinions?
Yes, of course.
And you're pleased with the people you voted for?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm happy. I'm happy that I voted this movement. Yes, I'm
Okay.
really happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, come back to me. So, yeah, I hope you were able to hear that. And if you did, you were able to hear, something very interesting, and of course the interview with Luca at the end of why he voted for them. So, Alan's Italy would like to thank Andrea and Samuela for helping perform the miracle of getting elected. My thanks to my dear friend Luca, who did the translating for us. And the next show on Alan's Italy, which will be in 2 weeks, because next week I won't be here, will be Michelangelo in Florence, in Rome rather, Michelangelo in Rome, with my friend and commentator Rick Hurst. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you for watching. Buonanotte e buona fortuna.